two deposits, the Tchaga and the Gogbala deposit, and it's a very small area. As you mentioned, we have 30 kilometers, and the resource only represents 13% of that 30 kilometers. So it's that's why we have this aspiration that we can find a very large deposit.
Hello, welcome to Assay TV. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Peter Ledwidge, who is the founder and managing director of Mako Gold, a West African gold explorer. Peter, great to see you today, sitting there in front of your picture of your namesake, the Mako shark back there.
Yeah, I'll move my head, you can see it, and that's what we're named after. Very fast, successful hunter. So we hunt for gold deposits.
Fantastic. So if you could just start things off, I mean, give us the quick sort of 30 seconds pitch about your company based in West Africa, in the Côte d'Ivoire. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing there.
Yeah, so we listed in 2018 and, have a very good project and then fast tracked it. And we just announced our resource on that just 2-3 months ago. And it's just the very beginning of what we're planning to do. We're actually targeting 2, 3, 4 million ounces on the project. So it's we have 868,000 ounces right now on our maiden resources. We're very pleased with, because we're raring to grow that.
Absolutely. I mean, let's focus in on that maiden resource. You've got the Napié fault there is sort of 30 kilometers long. Where on the fault is the maiden resource sort of situated?
Well, it's actually there's two deposits, the Tchaga and the Gogbala deposit, and it's a very small area. As you mentioned, we have 30 kilometers, and the resource only represents 13% of that 30 kilometers. So it's that's why we have this aspiration that we can find a very large deposits on the permit.
Absolutely. And so Tchaga and Gogbala, how is you got 868,000 ounces. How's it split between the two? Are they about the same size, or one bigger than the other?
Yeah, so Tchaga's got about 545,000 ounces and Gogbala's 323. And originally we're going to put out our resource last year just on Tchaga, and we decided to extend that date, and it was very worthwhile because, we've barely touched Gogbala. It's got so much potential, and that's where our fastest resource growth is going to come from.
I mean, let's talk about, how you're going to grow the resource. You mentioned there Gogbala. What's the potential at Gogbala for extra drilling?
Well, right now we've got so many targets, and it's a wet season, and we're just kind of itching to get back to drilling. And we're hoping to get back to drilling probably late September, mid-October, depending when the rains stop. But right now we've got on only 20,000 ounces of the resource of that 323,000 ounces that we have at Gogbala. It's the eastern splay of the fault there, and we just started drilling before we cut off our drilling before the wet season. And so we got some really nice numbers there, 5 meters at 6 grams, and there's only about half a dozen holes. And so we've got a 4.5 kilometers south of there that have had absolutely no drilling, and it's along that 30-kilometer fault associated with the soil anomaly that runs for 23 kilometers. So that's like a real good place. And then also at Gogbala, it's a we like to call it New Zealand. It's like the North Island, the South Island, and there's a gap in between there that we haven't drilled. So we're going to infill that, and then also between there and Tchaga. And that's all, very shallow drilling. So, the low-hanging fruit sort of thing.
Absolutely. I mean, the shallow drilling, that's an interesting point, because I believe, at Tchaga you drilled to about 195 meters, something like that, and at Gogbala only 160 meters. Potential to drill deeper?
Absolutely. So at both Tchaga and Gogbala, especially at Tchaga, where we've got, if people go and see our presentation, that's on our website, they can see on the section that we've got a whole bunch of drill holes that weren't included in the resource. And then obviously one of the steps, to add ounces to the resource at Tchaga is drill on the section in front and on the section behind, and underneath, one of those holes that had 19 meters at 4 grams or so. And then we can increase that resource at depth quite easily. And then at Gogbala, we've only drilled to 160 meters vertical depth. So when you consider that the average recent West African deposit is 300 meters vertical depth, and it's obvious that we're literally scratching the surface here.
Absolutely. And also, I mean, the deposit, the shape of the deposit, and people can see on the presentation, still material at the bottom, right at the bottom, and open at depth, yeah?
Exactly. And so, the growth potential is, certainly didn't disappoint us, because it's just a matter of doing more drilling to add more ounces. And we're confident we really understand our deposits now. And so we know where to drill.
Absolutely. I mean, heading north on your fault there, you have the Combro prospect, where you've been doing some drilling. Tell us a little bit about a discovery you've made there recently.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting, because our geos, we've been focusing on the south and on Gogbala and Tchaga, and we kind of left the north alone. Well, we did leave the north alone, and our geos went out there and did some mapping and discovered a intermittent 9-kilometer long artisanal mining site. And so in that 9-kilometer area, we put in 23 drill holes over 7 targets, and 6 of those had gold in them. So when you consider it's only a few holes in a very large area, it's very encouraging. And we had results 9 meters at 3.2 grams in that same hole, 1 meter 30 grams, and the other targets all had gold. So between that and the other prospect that we've also done a little bit of drilling on, Tchaga North, those kind of become the next resource targets. And so that's like a regional growth for the project.
Absolutely. So looking forward over, once the wet season is out of the way, what are your immediate plans for the company?
Well, get a couple of rigs on the ground, a diamond rig and an RC rig. So the RC rig will be doing the shallow drilling, and then the pre-collars for the deeper diamond drilling. And so basically we've got the luxury, we've got the quick turnaround times of 3 to 4 weeks. And so what we do is we drill an area for, put about 30 holes in it where we're confident we're in the mineralized zone. Then we move on to another area, wait for the results to come in. And, that maximizes, the shareholders' money, because we've got a pretty good success rate in our drilling. And then, so that'll be done on Tchaga and Gogbala, and primary starting off at Gogbala, because that's where the low-hanging fruit is with the shallow drilling. But at the same time, drilling the Tchaga North and the Combro prospect, so that they can become our next resource targets, and in our endeavor to outline, 2, 3, 4 million ounces on the project.
And so in terms of news flow, when do you hope to have the drill bits turning, and when would you hope to have some results coming out?
Well, we do, realistically speaking, it all depends when the rains stop. And so it could be, we could start drilling as early as late September, maybe it might be mid-October. Our crew's going back on the ground, and they've got a well-deserved break, because we've got a very hard-working crew. So they're going back on the ground September 15th in preparation for our drilling programs. And because we do have a quick news flow, we could have news flow happening as early as late October.
Fantastic. Well, very exciting, recent discoveries, and obviously congratulations on putting out that maiden resource estimate. We hope to speak to you later in the year when you start to get some more results out from your drilling campaign. But thank you very much for joining us today, for giving us this update.
No problem. My pleasure.
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks.